When Attack on Titan manga ended, the fanbase was split because of the ending. Some liked the ending and some wished for a different ending, which is known as an anime original ending. But so far in the anime, they've been adapting the manga one-to-one, and the ones who dislike the manga's ending are scared that the anime will adapt the manga ending. But I found out how the anime will diverge from the manga using these key moments. But first I need to provide some context on this, and I'll be using the discussion post provided by KChristian65 on the ANR subreddit, who believes that the anime will get a different ending, and I will be linking the post down in the description if you guys want to check it out. After reading KChristian65's post, I realized this theory was not going to be like my other theory videos, because it will require me to sit down in my room for hours to rewatch episodes, read manga chapters, and give up some sunlight. So dropping a like is highly appreciated, and also hit subscribe if you want to, but you don't have to. But after 4 days, I came up with indefinite proof for AOE, and here's a theory on how Attack on Titan will get an anime original ending. This starts off in chapter 139, and this is when Eren takes Armin to some old memories, and the very first memory that he takes Armin to is in the very first chapter after Eren gets beat up by those kids. And in the anime, this takes place in the first episode of season 1. Eren walks around in paths to see the northern lights, and in the anime, this is the same clothing that Armin wore in season 3 episode 11, and this shows us that Eren can manipulate reality by taking Eren to certain points in time where some event happened by judging the clothing that they have. And we can confirm this because when Eren takes Armin to the very first chapter, Armin's wearing a hoodie, and this is when the Colossal Titan appears. And then when he takes him to the northern lights, this is when Armin and Eren are on the farm. Clothing for this is important because Historia and Eren bond. Eren also takes Armin to the sea again, and we all know what happens at the sea. They reach the freedom from the walls, but in the manga, this is with the ODM gear. But I'm gonna be getting back to this panel later. Eren mentions that he doesn't know what Mikasa would do and shows an image of Mikasa holding the scarf when he meets Dana. Why would Eren mention this? In chapter 139, when we go back to reality, Isayama makes it look like the whole conversation happened on the boat. But if this was on the boat, the moment with Mikasa already happened and 90 chapters before. It's not chapter 138. If this was on the boat, what would happen with the freedom scene? Does it overlap? Or when does this conversation happen that Eren brings up and not the final chapter? This conversation has to happen before the Diana encounter, and if so, what causes Eren to think of this moment in particular? And I think that he could just be having a mess of memories like he said to Armin, but the next scene after that is the ocean, and Armin has his black ODM gear on. This whole panel, but this whole scene is confusing to me just because if he doesn't know what's going on and then he has a vision of Armin in the black ODM gear, something's going on there and it's just kind of confusing. That could just be the mess of memories going on. Before we go to the ocean scene, we need to go back to when Armin tells Eren about that he's been alone since the ceremony, and Eren couldn't tell anyone about what he saw. The metal scene shows that Eren really cares for Historia because he mentions that he doesn't want the event of his aunt dying happening again to someone innocent, and he doesn't want to talk to anyone about it. I mentioned this because this shows that he has a very strong connection to Historia, and he's willing to sacrifice his own life before anything happens to her. So this shows that he has some emotional attachment to Historia, because why else would he be willing to lay his life down? And then we go to season 4, or later in the manga, where Eren tells the story about what the military police wants to do, and she is pretty much forced to have a baby so she won't be turned into a titan in order to eat Zeke. And in the manga, Eren gets the medal in chapter 90, page 25, and in the anime, this is at season 3, episode 22, minutes 1347. And in the anime, Eren's medal looks like his founding titan, and it looks like Historia is holding Eren. This symbolism shows something because then the next panel afterwards in this theory, Eren and Historia are talking about having a kid, and an MP talks about how Historia found out about having a kid avoids being a titan. And I think that the farmer could be a cover-up for Eren being the dad, because in the manga it says the MP says farmer was cleared and that someone told her the truth, and then in the manga this someone is in bold, and we can see a person standing outside the barn, but the thing is that this person is wearing a black jacket that's standing outside the barn, and the only person we know about at this point in time is Eren. In the anime, Mappa decided to cut it out because I feel like if they decided to keep the shot in, the anime onis already think that Eren is the father because of the conversation that he and Historia had about having a baby. Keeping the shot will just strongly confirm that Eren is the father, because why else would they be mentioning having a baby and the next scene is like someone, and then all of a sudden there's a guy with a black jacket and everyone knows who that guy in the black jacket is. So it's just going to confirm that Eren is the father. But this can also be an artistic choice for them wanting to cut it off, but I don't really like that. Eren probably thought of this plan because he doesn't want to lose any intel if they find out that he is the father. And yes, the farmer is in the background of the final pages of the manga. He could be the caretaker at first like Eren planned originally, but eventually ended up being the stepdad, or maybe he was just the dad the whole time. For AOE's sake, let's say that Historia talks to him about the plan of him being a dad as a cover-up. Body language will explain why he looks very uncomfortable when Historia approaches him. Imagine you're just a farmer just working on a farm, right? And then the queen approaches you with this plan about a cover-up about being a dad to hide from her own military police and her own government. This is very sudden and very dangerous because you are defying the government, and if he is caught, and that's not going to really end well for him and the queen. But the thing is, the backstory checks out. Maybe the farmer did feel bad when what he did to Historia back then, but I don't think the farmer had a crush on Historia back then, because when they were young, you can see him and his friends throwing rocks at her in the anime, and since there's a connection there, it's a good cover-up because he feels bad, he wanted to work for her, and it just goes aligned to what the military police thought. And since we didn't get confirmation about Eren being in the dad in the manga, I feel like we can get this in the anime. If Eren is a dad in this scenario, like I'm theorizing, then that will give him a reason to finish the rumbling so that his child can live free, compared to the manga where we don't even know if he had a kid or not. But for those of you who think I'm looking way into this, we have seen Eren use people for the benefit, for good or bad, and we're going to be taking a look at the 48 laws of power, and we're going to be using law 14 specifically, and we're going to use a power analysis video on it because he makes a very good point on how Eren uses cover-ups for his benefit.
Law 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. Knowing about your rival is critical. Use spies to gather valuable information that will keep you a step ahead. Better still, play the spy yourself. In polite social encounters, learn to probe. Ask indirect questions to get people to reveal their weaknesses and intentions. There is no occasion that is not an opportunity for artful spying. Eren Yeager posed as a friend, not so much to receive material, but to gain the trust of the people in Mali, specifically Falco Grice. Eren wanted to use Falco so he could deliver the letters to his comrades. Eren even went as far as to amputate his own leg just to make it look believable that he was a friend to the people. But rest assured, you don't have to go this far. However, this law is dangerous if you slip up. If your subject finds out that you have been using them, then get ready for complete destruction of the relationship. It will never be the same again.
We have seen Eren use Law 14 as acting as a friend and posing as a spy. With Zeke and Yelena, he thinks that he's going to be going through a euthanization plan. He tells Flock to go with the plan, but they're going to actually do the rumbling instead. And he does the same thing with Falco, so he can deliver the letters, and the same with the Aldean government in this situation that I am theorizing. If Eren is willing to cut off his own leg just to fool the Marley government, and he's able to trick his own friends thinking that he's going to go with the euthanization plan, what stops him from fooling his own government saying that he isn't the dad? Eren takes Armin to the ocean right before Eren's breakdown, and panels provided that Christian put together shows that throwing the scarf away is a symbol of freedom, and Eren tells Louise in this panel to get rid of the scarf whenever Mikasa doesn't have it on. She does take the scarf away from Mikasa, but she doesn't listen to Eren about throwing away the scarf, and she figured that she would keep the scarf in order to make her closer to Mikasa. Eren tells Mikasa in the cabin timeline to get rid of the scarf so that she can be free and forget about Eren, but in chapter 139 we know that Mikasa didn't do that, and she kept onto the scarf in the final battle, and she was even buried in it. But in the 100 cams, Mikasa doesn't have it, and if getting rid of the scarf means freedom like Eren mentioned in chapter 138, Mikasa will stop chasing Eren and will finally live for herself in the anime. Her choosing to go after Eren in the manga means that she gained memories of where he is in the Titan. Then in the anime, Okay, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I just wanted to make the connection between Louise and Mikasa. Louise said that she had a thunder spear in her stomach and sold a scarf in season 4 part 2 episode 2, and she had it on while she was dying in order to be closer to Mikasa. Pay attention to Louise's posture. Compared to Mikasa's in Under the Tree, they both have their hands on their stomach and are holding onto the scarf in order to be closer to their heroes. Louise has the scarf on in order to be closer to Mikasa so she can be comforted from what she did to her in season 1, I believe, where the Titans were coming after and Mikasa comes and saves Louise when she was just a little girl. And then in the Under the Tree album cover, we see Mikasa's holding onto the scarf, and that scarf has a meaning for her because Eren is her hero from saving her from those kidnapped. And they both have their hands on their stomach and are holding onto their scarf, like I mentioned. And Louise decided to follow Mikasa, which resulted in her death. From what we know before season 4 part 3 part core 2, why is this so complicated, comes out is that Mikasa doesn't have her scarf in the final battle, and somehow she ends up in the same position as Louise, because compared to the manga, she comes out uninjured. The anime, something happens there in order for her to have this same posture that Louise had. Louise said that she had a thunder spear in her stomach when she was trying to fight off the Titans from coming over the castle. So how does Mikasa end up in this situation? And I think that Eren probably hardens his mouth because he knows that Mikasa is gonna attack there if he's aware of the manga timeline we all think he is. And if that is the case, maybe she can get some shrapnel in her stomach, which is causing her to have the same position as Louise. Eren has Titan marks on his face while he hugs Armin and tells him that he's gonna make it to the other side of the walls, and it shows the image of the shell from when they first visited the ocean for the very first time. Armin already had gone to the other side of the walls at this point, so it's either before they got outside the walls to go to the ocean, or if it's in the context of season 4, then the rumbling already destroyed the walls, so what's the point of even saying this, because there are no walls to go to the other side. We all thought that the conversation that they had in past was when they were on the boat. Eren and Armin already talked during the freedom scene, so what's this conversation's out of the question. So when does this conversation happen? And it could have been during the freedom scene, but where does it fit during the freedom scene? Because if it was during the freedom scene, then how long were they in paths talking to each other before the freedom scene? If they have a conversation before the freedom scene, then it's just gonna be weird to end it off with the whole freedom thing. I don't know, but Eren's eyes have something to do with it compared to the manga, where we all know the eyes were closed, and in the anime the eyes were open. And another thing that I have to do before I end off the video is that the Tower of Big Ben in chapter 139 is safe in the manga because we know that that place didn't get destroyed by the rumbling, but then in the anime it seems to be destroyed because in the My War intro you see a glimpse of it just getting destroyed. Like, you know how in anime every time there's like a nuke or something there's a white flash and then there's like a whole thing. You guys know what I'm talking about, that one explosion thing that you guys all know. Big Ben seems to be destroyed in the Maya War intro, so that is starting to say something. While I was recording this video, the official Attack on Titan their website, and in the background you get to see the Berserk Eren walls. Most likely we are going to be getting Berserk Eren again because we do know that we got a key visual for season 4 part 3 part 1. I don't know why it sounds so dumb to say. Let me know if you agree with my Eren being the dad take and Mikasa probably getting a shrapnel in her stomach from Eren hardening. Let me know if you agree with any of my takes that I mentioned in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to be doing a live stream debating AOE, and we're going to have a watch party on November 3rd. I had to adjust it for my time, but yeah, this is going to be one of the last videos I might be doing for Attack on Titan. There's not really much to go off of until November, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Alex.